Hi, this is Ken Segal. I'm a partner with LGA and Managing Director of its Business Advisory Services practice. I have the pleasure of being here today with Jim DeCesar, our principal on our team. And today we're going to be talking about the wonderful topic of standard operating procedures and why we should care. How you doing today, Jim?
Doing great. Can't wait to dive in.
It's going to be a fun topic. Just trust us. We're going to get through the nitty-gritty part eventually, but now the perfunctory question. Jim, what are standard operating procedures?
Great place to start. So the procedures utilized by a company to execute on their financial and operational processes. And it's basically how they organize their work to ensure that it's done on time. It's done accurately in a manner that best suits what the company's leadership and external parties need for reporting.
Sounds obvious. So most companies must take the time to document all their standard operating procedures, correct?
Unfortunately not. Most companies don't take the time to document their SOPs. And whether it's because they don't have them, they don't feel comfortable with those that they have, or they feel that it isn't necessary.
All right, so now we've defined it. So we know what they are. We know that not everyone is doing it. So why are they so important?
So they help ensure the reliability of the information that the company is generating, the output, the timeline, as well as the consistency of the approach and the measurement of that data.
All right, so then what's the downside for not adhering to SOPs and documenting them?
So it's the complete flip side, and it really begins with inconsistency. So whether it's inconsistent numbers from period to period, inconsistent reporting from period to period, inconsistent timeliness of reporting, 1 month is missed versus another, all of those inconsistencies add up.
All right, inconsistencies don't scare me. Try and scare me. What's the downside of me not doing SOPs?
So I think from there, you just start to think about some of the real life scenarios that could occur. So right off the bat, the leader within your finance function tells you that they're going to retire. Whether it's the CFO or controller, if there isn't a documented process for what they've been doing and what their team's been doing, you can imagine how tough that transition is going to be. And then from there, if you think about the company's internal processes, whether it's around receivables or payables, if you have someone who's working for you who's has an inconsistent approach with how they're executing those, you have vendors that are irritated one moment, vendors that are paid too early the next moment, receivables that aren't collected for months, and customers aren't even aware that they're still open.
Yeah, I think of them almost like recipes. So from a recipe perspective, you want to have them all written down so that people know how to follow them. But you bring up a good point, Jim. So it's not only on the financial side, but it's also operational. Having standard operating procedures for every part of your company seems to make a lot of sense. Is that right?
Absolutely. And there are some companies that need this. When you think about some of the manufacturing companies out there that have a level of precision within their products, or pharmaceutical company, there are some operational teams that actually lead the charge on documenting these. But these standard operating procedures should flow directly to the finance function, because that finance team is generating the reporting for both leadership and external parties.
So now we've defined it, we've explained it, and you've scared us straight. One of the things that consultants oftentimes bring to the equation is the best practices approach, meaning they've seen it and done it with a lot of other folks. So they try and apply that knowledge to the companies. Is that right?
You're absolutely correct. There are many companies that do attempt to document their standard operating procedures, but almost all companies are well served by having an external party to come in with a fresh set of eyes and have an understanding of where your peers are spending their time in documenting processes, and ensuring that the risks that you've identified are appropriately mitigated and documented within those processes.
No, that's interesting. So obviously we go without saying that to the extent that you think that your company could benefit from having a best practices approach to documenting the standard operating procedures, the team here at LGA are happy to help. But Jim, I appreciate your time, and hopefully this was as fun and exciting as advertised.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the time to talk about it.
As always, thank you.